In section 4.3, we're going to talk about equations of lines. So this should be a pretty big Algebra 1 review. So there's two main forms we're going to talk about for equations, and that's going to be point-slope form. For that form, to be able to make your equation, you would need some point on the line and then the slope of that line. Other form we're going to talk about today is slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And to put an equation in that form, we would need to know the slope and the y-intercept. Remember, the y-intercept is where that line crosses the y-axis. So first we should talk about how to find slope. So if we're on a graph, we could just count the rise over run. If we're given 2 points, this is the formula that we would use. y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So in our first problem, we want to find the slope of the line with the points -2, 5, and -6, 8. I'm just going to go ahead and do 8 minus 5. It really doesn't matter if I started with the 5 or started with the 8, as long as I'm consistent for my y's and my x's. So if I'm going to do 8 minus 5, on the bottom I need to do -6 minus -2. When I simplify that, on top I get 3, and then on the bottom I get -4. So my slope is -3/4. And on a graph, that would look like counting down 3 and then to the right 4. Now, you don't have to write this down, but if I went the other way and did 5 minus 8, notice you're going to get the same thing. If I did 5 minus 8, then I would do 2 minus -6, which ends up being -3, and then on the bottom, -2 plus 6 gives me 4, so we get the same thing. On a graph, let's say we're looking at this picture and I want to find the slope here. Now I would count the rise over run. So I'm going to just start at a solid coordinate here. It looks like to get to my next point, I would need to count up 2, and then over 1, 2, 3. So that slope would be positive 2/3. In our second problem that we're going to work with, I want to find the equation of the line that passes through 10, -8 with a slope of -1/2 in slope-intercept form. So since I was given a point and the slope, I'm going to start off by writing my equation in point-slope form, then I'm going to change it to slope-intercept form. So I was given the point, so I'm going to plug that in for x1 and y1. So now I have y minus -8 equals our slope times x minus 10. Remember that minus and negative changes to a positive. Then I'm going to plug in my slope, which is -1/2. Now that's my equation in point-slope form. To get this into slope-intercept form, notice that the y is by itself. So that's really just what I'm going to do here. First, I'm going to start by distributing that -1/2 to get rid of the parentheses. So now I have y plus 8 equals -1/2 x plus 5. And my last step would be to bring the 8 over. So my final equation in slope-intercept form would be y equals -1/2 x minus 3. And how I could interpret that, my slope is going down 1 over 2. My y-intercept is at -3 on the y-axis.